Okay, so this right here is a hand crank generator, but what we're doing now is we're actually draining the power from a battery so we can recharge that battery with a generator, so I can show you how powerful the generator is. Okay, we're gonna add in this diode, which we're gonna use to charge the battery. First, let me just adjust the camera so you can see what's going on. There we go. So we've got 3.76 volts. We're gonna add in this diode right here. But first, let me show you what's going on inside here. So it's just a set of gears that is inside this generator. And what's going on is that the large gear, which is this, when it turns a much smaller gear with a little number of teeth. And then this other gear turns this one, which is a much smaller number of teeth. So when it does that, as you can see, with just a little rotation on this one, we have a much higher speed on this one. So at this point where you see this hole right here, that's where the motor has been hooked up to, and then this one drives the motor gear. And then what happens is when you turn this, it turns the motor really fast, and then the motor starts to generate electricity. So that's literally what's going on here. So we're just going to let this run, and we're going to start the charging. As you can see, the slow rotation on this end makes it really fast on this end. And so the battery just keeps on charging if this has been turned. Just like that, guys. It just starts charging. So we're gonna place this diode to make the voltage coming from the battery not to go into the motor, rather let the voltage from the motor go into the battery to charge the battery. Okay, so okay, let's try to turn this and see what happens. As you can see, the voltage there increases. You see? That is also an indication that the battery is charging. So let's do it again. As you can see, guys, 3.77. Let's see if we can get higher than that. Okay. So Josie says, "Hi, hello, how you doing?" Okay. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. 3.77 volts. So this generator generates 40 volts and 6 amps just with hand rotation. So imagine what will happen if we hook this up to a bicycle, or we hook up some wind turbine blades and let the wind turn it. Hey, Robert says, "What a load of shit, Lo." Yeah, actually it is a load of shit, whatever that is. So what I'm doing now is I'm draining this battery so I can recharge the battery and show you how powerful this guy is. So in my last videos, I used this to power these LED and also this pump, and the power from this was massive, was crazy. This pump right here, this is an air pump. I used this guy right here to power this up, and it was crazy. So is it a load of shit? I don't know. It's not. No, it's not. It's not. All right. So okay, we've got 3.76 volts. Let's keep on going and see how many we can reach. So all right, let's do this. Where is that sulfuric acid? So while this is running, let's do an experiment with sulfuric acid. I'm going to place a capacitor here. The capacitor is made with electrolytic capacitor is made with aluminum. So, and sulfuric acid reacts to aluminum to produce hydrogen. So let's pour this in. This is really dangerous. I'm supposed to use a glove, but anyway, I'm not gonna pour it on my hand or anything. So let's just pour this in. All right, that's a reasonable amount. You want to be careful with that. So right here I have a bulb which has a capacitor that the outer body is made out of aluminum. So we're just going to take this out. Yeah, let's do that with this, with our tweezer. And okay, let's drop this in. Let's see if it's going to react. I think it's starting to react, or not. Aluminum, sulfuric acid is corrosive, and let's see, It's kind of like bubbling in there. Nah, I don't think any of that is happening. Nope, nothing is happening. So let's turn this back in. So one more thing I want to show you guys is also, while this is running, let me just show you how to revive a dead lithium-ion battery. So you're going to find that most of your lithium-ion battery, like, they're not producing voltage anymore. Like, if you test them with your multimeter, you're not going to have any voltage at all. That's because of overcharging, or maybe the battery is old. But there's a way to revive this battery. There's something that's called a CID. It's a pressure relief valve that is built into the battery to release pressure if you overcharge the battery. So when you overcharge a lithium-ion battery, it builds pressure inside, and so what happens is that the CID expands and detaches itself from the positive plate, and when it does that, we're not going to have any voltage anymore in the battery. And when you want to charge the battery, the voltage, it's not going to go into the battery anymore because the CID has detached itself from the positive plate. So that's the reason why we don't have any voltage. So how can we revive the lithium-ion battery? Really simple. All you need to do is use your flat screwdriver, the one it's really tiny. All you need to do is go through the hole here. You're going to find some little holes on the positive, and you're just going to push that down. The 4 holes, you're going to push it down a little bit. Don't add too much pressure. And when you push that down, you're going to hear a pressure relief sound like psst. And when you do that, you have a revived lithium-ion battery. So that is how you revive this battery. So what about the LiPo battery, the one that is bloated? I don't have any of those here, but yeah. So what about those ones? The LiPo battery, the one that's flat, that is bloated. A way to revive that is to put it in the fridge. So what happens is the temperature in the fridge creates like a vacuum, and that sucks down all of that gas, just decompresses that gas and makes the battery flat again. So that is another way to revive a LiPo battery. That's a way to revive a LiPo battery if you have one of those. So yeah, that's it. And also, one of the things I want to show you guys is salvaging components from circuit boards. So this is our generator. We're just going to leave this to sit and completely take all the voltage from that battery. So we're going to recharge the battery again. So first, I want to show you guys something here. How I salvage components. What I do is I get boards like this, PCB boards that I'm no more using anymore, and then I just desolder it with a desoldering bed or my soldering iron. But a desoldering bed is really fast. It does the job really fast, and you can just take off each component safely. And you can store those components in little boxes or plates or something. And all right, let this run for a while, and we're going to come back and see what happens. All right, seal it up. Oh, we've got a comment from Skipper. He says hi. Hello, Skipper. Hello. Hi. Whoa. So we've got a comment from Genial, says hi, and Dark Urban Exploring says why. Why? Because we are turning down the battery to recharge the battery with this powerful generator. So watch what happens when I turn this. Anyways, thanks for liking, guys. Thanks for liking and subscribing. As you can see, we have an increase. You see that? There was an increase in voltage. Yeah, thanks. So that is it. So this is what we're charging. Dark Urbanic Exploring, this is what we're charging. This battery, this is what we want to charge. But right now it's acting as a motor, a really, really powerful motor. So, but you really want to charge this efficiently, you want to use a diode. But I can see you charge this by just turning it. See? All right. So that is it. So this, what's in here is just a set of gears like this. As you can see, this one with a lot of teeth and this one with just few teeth, and down here a large number of teeth, and right here, as you can see, just few teeth. So what happens is when we turn this, which is here, when we turn this, as you can see, with just a slow rotation here, we have a much faster rotation at this point. As you can see what's going on, it's spinning real fast. So this right here turns the motor that's been set. But right now, I took out the motor from this because I wanted to run my driller. I was doing a homemade driller, so I just took out the motor from that, and it's no more there again. So there is always a motor here, which with just few numbers of teeth of gears. And when you turn this, it turns the motor really fast, and then it generates 40 volts and 6 amps of current. All right. All right, so I've got a comment from Zabaru. Says, hi. Hello.